Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel today, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my top 10 or so, might be a couple of bonus ones in there, predictions for 2025. I think it's time. We're now into the second week of January 2025, and I wanted to give my top predictions for 2025, and then we're going to look back at the end of the bull run and see how many of these actually came to pass, all right? So hang on to your hats. It's going to be a great show. But before we do that, of course, as always, if you're a regular watcher, smash the like button. That does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel, as does all your incredible comments that you leave in the comment section. Thank you so much for that. You take the time to write it. I take the time to read it. And those who do ask questions in the comment section, I do get back to those as soon as I am able to. If you'd like more immediate engagement with me, however, you can find me in the Stocks with Josh Discord there daily in the crypto channel with some of the most amazing people on the planet. How do you find the Stocks with Josh Discord? So glad you asked. Just under this video, there's the description. If you might need to click on the more button, that will pop out the description. The links will be there. There's also a stocks channel, a meme coin channel, aka the Party Zone, as well as my own Crowned Traders channel there, where I share education, insight, resource, some of my trade setups, and of course, entertainment, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay. And so I'd love to see you in there. And of course, I have some other great links below, my X link there, and a bunch of other links in the description as well. Check all of those out. So as we talk about predictions, I have a whole predictions folder on my X here, and these are some of them here where Roaring Kitty is talking about January 9th, typically start of the bull run, April 20, top of the bull run, put your coffee on. Also, Dave Ramsey back in 2020 telling his caller to sell all his Bitcoin immediately. There, not making a good prediction there. And then an overview of the coming cycle. We have all kinds of, there was Ansem calling the Sui top at $4.60. Ouch. I'm not sure how he's doing. Someone may need to check in on him. And then, of course, you have other situations there that talk about that it will go to the end of the bull market at 220,000. And there's just a whole bunch there. Now, I haven't actually put my predictions on X yet, because if I did, you'd know what they all are. So I'm going to do it post the show over the next couple of days. I will actually post these to X and put it there so everybody can see and possibly laugh at me if some or many of those don't come to pass. Okay, so the first prediction I'm going to put out there is the US is going to make Bitcoin part of its Federal Reserve. The bill on the current administration's desk is going to get signed, and we are going to see some kind of Bitcoin reserve for the US government. That's number one. Number two, there are going to be more countries that are going to follow. There are already some countries, some smaller ones at that, who have made Bitcoin part of the reserve, like El Salvador. I believe more countries. And I think if 2020 more, I call it, was the year of where there were companies that adopted Bitcoin. 2025, I'm predicting, is the year that there's going to be countries, more countries. There's going to be countries adopting Bitcoin, and the US is going to kick it off in a big way. Everybody is waiting to see. Thirdly, there are going to be more companies. So more companies are going to come. I believe companies like Apple or Meta, maybe not Microsoft, but other companies are going to come out and start adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. Even some of the shareholders of Meta, just in the last 24 to 48 hours, were asking about all this billions of dollars that they have that is currently being devalued with inflation, that would this not be better off in Bitcoin? That's number three. Number four, I think there are going to be more ETFs. The Solana ETF is next cab off the rack to be able to possibly be approved. Is Solana going to be approved as an ETF? Possibly. I think most likely it is. XRP is also out there as well, and there are other ETFs that are going to follow. That there could be a mad scramble, a mad dash to get as many as the ETFs in and approved before the end of this bull run. So I do think there are more ETFs that are going to be approved in this cycle. Number 5, I think utility tokens. We're starting to see tokens with utility like real world assets, DePIN, and AI. This is good news for tokens like Potenza Tau, that's an AI token, and Render and Fetch, and also good news for other real world asset tokens like Ondo and OM Mantra. OM is the ticker, Mantra is the name, and Ondo as well being a real world assets, and HNT, which is the Helium Mobile that has partnerships with other cell phone carrying companies. Okay, and so I do think utility tokens, people are going to move a little bit away from meme coins to a certain extent. I'll share that in later prediction, but that is prediction number 5. Now, prediction number 6 is that revenue sharing is going to be turned back on. Even with ETH there, with the ETF, there is not that where you can stake and earn yield. So why would you buy the ETH via the ETF when you would just buy it and stake it at Coinbase or something? And I also think other places like Uniswap and others are going to start to be able to turn back on their staking services for US customers there. So I do think with a more crypto-friendly administration coming in, we are going to see that become a DeFi is going to become a whole lot bigger, because you have to ask yourself the question, make it make sense. And we do have the Department of Government Efficiency coming in, and they seem like they have a lot of common sense. You've got to ask yourself, why, SEC, are you blocking US people from earning yield on their assets? That's a decision that they should make if they're going to risk it and to earn yield and percentage yield on that. So I do think that is next. I think that's number 6. I think number 7, that stablecoin regulation is going to go through, and their banks is there a day coming when the banks are going to be able to receive USDC and USDT, and you can store your USDT and USDT with the banks and actually earn interest and yield. And of course, we're already seeing with Venmo and PayPal and Cash App and a few others that where you can send your crypto to and actually buy crypto in those places. Is there coming a time where the banks, you can actually send your Bitcoin to the bank and custody your Bitcoin with the bank and your Ethereum with the bank, and possibly even those assets have some kind of financial protection or provision like the FDIC with your money? I do think a lot of that is much further down the track, but I do think stablecoin regulation is coming along with some of the other crypto. We're going to have clarity around what's a security, what's a commodity there as well. So that's number 7. Number 8, the AI agent super cycle. And I know they're in a little bit of a pullback at the moment, but I do think if you're asking yourself, would you rather have a meme coin or would you rather have a meme coin with utility? Now, let me just say with the AI agents, you have to be careful because some people have said they're just spam bots. That just, most AI agents right now are just spam bots, and they just spam other people's X or Instagram feeds, making comments and trying to generate engagement for you, following and making comments and making posts on your behalf. So, I do think there are some more credible ones out there that do help with social media engagement. But the ones that I think in the future that are really going to kick on are those that we're going to have the first movie script, I believe, written by an AI. We're going to have the first TV series written by AI, books and songs, and maybe that's already happening, but not to where there is a big motion picture out there that we're watching that was written by AI, for example. Okay, so I do think we're going to see a bit of an AI agent super cycle. I have started shifting some of my portfolio away from the meme coins and more heavily into the AI agents. I did shows on that in the last week. Check out some of my picks for AI agents and AI agent launch pads. Here, we're going to get pretty exciting here. The Bitcoin top. I think the Bitcoin top is going to come in 2025, and it's going to be somewhere around 150 to 170K, 160K, somewhere around there. And I do think there is going to be a new Bitcoin all-time high in February of this year. put it down there. A new all-time high for February for Bitcoin is coming. And so the top is not in. I do think the Bitcoin top, I have picked it to be around 150 to 170K region there. I think the bull market is going to finish around about September 2025, maybe a touch earlier in August of 2025. Everybody's expecting Rectember to come. They'll still be happy and buying in August, and then the end will come quite suddenly, and then we will start to dip into the bear market come into September. Maybe there'll be a dead cat bounce into October, which will people will think, oh, it's not going to finish until November, December, or there'll be a super cycle there. But that's my prediction. I'm putting a month on it actually there for late August, early September there. I know a lot of people said, oh, it's going to happen between May, sell in May and go away in November, somewhere in between there. And I've said that previously. Now, for 2025, I'm putting a month on it there that it will be over. I do also think that I'm going to put my Sui prediction out there. I'm still saying $25 in 2025. And I do think that Sui will be a top 10 coin and quite probably a top 5 coin by the time this bull market is over. It is truly revolutionary tech there for that, okay? And then lastly, I think Bitcoin is going to drop less in the bear market. And I know this is not the cycle prediction, that's the next cycle prediction for the bear market, but I'm going to throw this one as a freebie here, that I think the Bitcoin will drop actually a lot less, somewhere between 50 to 60%. I do think altcoins will drop as normal very heavily. Most altcoins will drop at least 90, 95, some even 99%, and most will never recover. That's just a historical fact. I think that's going to continue. I think what we saw in the reaccumulation phase and the drop that we saw between that March and September kind of drop and reaccumulation, that Bitcoin didn't drop as much. It dropped, I think it was a decent drop, but it didn't drop as much. And the altcoins absolutely got hammered. They were 75, 80% down. Some of them were maybe 65% down. And Bitcoin had only dropped 20 or 30%. So I do think that Bitcoin will drop less. I think that maybe if we see it come up to 150,000, we're only going to see it drop maybe to 70,000. So more like a 50% drop. I do think the bear market bottom is going to be somewhere around the high 60s to low 70s, somewhere between that 67,000 to around that 73,000 area. That's my final prediction, is where I see the Bitcoin bear market bottom. Now, of course, if Bitcoin surprises us and goes to $200,000 to $300,000, then of course the percentage is going to be a little bit higher. So I am still going to say that I think Bitcoin will drop less, because listen, last bear market, Bitcoin dropped 80%. I'm not seeing that. I could see a 70%, 60%, 50%, maybe even a 40% drop, but I'm looking around that 50 to 70% region for Bitcoin for the bear market. And I do think that's going to coincide. Now, of course, when the Bitcoin top is in, I'll probably look at that and reevaluate that. But for right now, based on a top of around about 150, 160 area, maybe 170, maybe 140s. We don't quite get to that 150, that I do see a drop down, and my bear market bottom is going to be sitting around that $67,000 to $73,000 area there. And I think altcoins will get smashed as normal and go heavily down below 90%. Now, it's possible some of the altcoins that have ETFs, maybe they don't see as deep a sell-off, but maybe they see just as big a deeper sell-off, because those that have bought it via the stock market might be freaking out on such a big downside to their portfolios. I doubt they want to see their ETF drop 40, 50, 60% of value, and they're going to be out. So I still do think even the ones that have the ETF are going to drop as heavily as normal as has happened. So those are my predictions for 2025. I will be updating these on X over the next couple of days. Let me know what you think. Are there any predictions that I missed or that you'd like to see me give? Put them below and I may cover them in an upcoming show. That's number one. Number two, let me know if you agree with my predictions and which ones. And if you disagree with any of my predictions, and let me know which ones you disagree with and what you think will actually happen. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear what you think are some of your predictions. And if you would like to make some predictions here as well, I'd like to hear your predictions in the comment section of this video as well. Okay, that's all for today. And until the next episode, happy trading.